Yo, what's happening, guys? Welcome to a brand spanking new edition of Rave Diaries and Tower Block Tales with yours truly, Uncle Doug's in the motor. Shout out to everyone that's watched the last few editions that I've put up, episodes, sorry, that I've put up. Was a bit slack, but I'm back on it now, so we're going to keep them coming. Love to all the commenters. I love reading the comments on this playlist in particular, just because we get to share stories of like similar and shared experiences that we once had that we didn't even know each other back in these days. But yeah, it's lovely to read them all, so keep them coming. All the new subscribers, welcome along. Right, so today's story is a pirate radio story today. It's a Tower Block Tale. So going back to about, I think it was 2003, maybe. Might have been 2002, but I think it was about 2003. Anyway, at that time, I was managing Rinse FM, of course, with Genius and Slimsy. And we were struggling to get a studio at this time. I think we'd just come away from 3 flats, maybe. And we had a studio in the middle block over at Crossways. I think it was Priestman Point, I think. And we'd lost that studio and we was desperate. And I can't remember who, someone knew a guy. Right, it's always the way it is. Someone knew a matey, and this matey worked over at the Tate and Lyle factory, which is over by, it's Silvertown, Canning Town, over that way on the docks, and it's right by City Airport. So basically, if you're driving down the A13 and you look across the City Airport, just on the other side of the runway is part of the Tate and Lyle factory. It used to stretch the whole length. I mean, they had a massive plot of land over there, and it's gradually been sold off because obviously it's a very lucrative area and they don't need the space, I'm sure, what they once did. But once upon a time, Tate and Lyle owned a massive chunk of that, right the way along the river there. The guy that we knew, he was the caretaker for, I don't think it was the whole of Tate and Lyle because it was so big, but he was the caretaker for a certain part of it, yeah. And the part that he was looking after was mostly derelict. There was a few things going on in there, but it was mostly empty buildings, getting ready to lock it off and knock it down and flog it on or whatever they were going to do with it. So there was one place, it was in the middle of it was like a big, not like a courtyard, but you know, like a big space, yeah, just an open space. And right in the middle of it was this sort of building, and on top of it was a porter cabin. And he said, you can have the porter cabin up the top. No one comes round here. I'm the only one. I'm the security and the caretaker. I look out for everything, and I know you're here. We paid him a wedge, and that was that. So, right, we go over to the studio. Now, where our tower block was at the time that we were transmitting off. So obviously you go from the studio, you transmit to your tower block, then your tower block, you go up the aerial and transmit out to London. Our tower block was across City Airport runway. Now, in the press over the years, there's always been this thing about pirate radios causing plane frequencies to be disturbed. And listen, right, they can say what they want. At the end of the day, there's frequencies everywhere, and how you're linking and transmitting and all that, it's nothing has ever happened. If ever there was a problem, trust me, we would all know about it, right? And at this point, pirate radio has been broadcasting in and around London across all different airways and airports and fucking plane paths and that for years, yeah? Nothing's ever happened. There's never been any confirmed reports. It's just scaremongering, right? So anyway, so we've had to link directly across the runway. And obviously now I know that it's bollocks. We all knew it was bollocks anyway, do you know what I mean? But I know for sure now, because for about 6 or 7 months, however long we was in there for, maybe not that long, we was linking directly across the runway. So we get the studio and we try to make it look as good as we can, and we get it all kitted out and all that. So we're in there for quite a while. It was one of the rare studios. Normally we kept our studios quite nice, but where we'd boarded it out, there ended up being a marker pen in there. And do you know what? I wish I had a photograph, or I took videos, or even kept the board, because everyone that was on Rinse at that time, and the stars were going up there, you know, stars of today that weren't then, and everyone used to like write things on it. And I remember Genius done a big drawing on there of one of the people on the radio station in a police uniform. And yeah, there was a proper bit of history there. And obviously when we moved out, that just got smashed up and thrown away. But yeah, everyone that went up there had a little dilly-dally on the board and wrote some stuff on it on this big lump of plywood or whatever it was. So anyway, sorry, spitting now. So we're in this studio for a while. Now, at that time, I lived in Dagenham, and my ex-partner worked at the Tower of London. So at the weekends, I would drive her into work, and sometimes we'd go down the A13, but more times, especially when the radio was there, I would drive sort of around the back of Beckton, cut through on the Silvertown Way, up past Tate and Lyle, and then sort of come back out at Tower Bridge, a bit further down, you know. Anyway, you don't need an A to Z fucking guide of East London and Essex, do you? So this particular day, it was a Sunday, yeah, and we were up and about early. I think, you know, she started work at, say, 9 o'clock, so we're coming past there about 8:30 in the morning. And like, so where it is, it's all like I say, it was derelict buildings everywhere. They were getting ready to convert it into what is now flats and offices and whatnot that's over there these days. It's like a new world over there. But this time it was the transition. So when I'm driving towards it, I'm just driving down a long straight road, and on the left is like a long brick wall, which is all the Tate and Lyle building behind it, all derelict, no cars about really. It's a Sunday morning. And then on the right is just, like I say, a load of derelict sort of land, rough land, and then the airport is on the other side of the land. So I'm driving up, and in the distance, like where we went basically to go through the big wall. There was a big wooden door we had to let ourselves in and go through, right? So, and it was just on a bend, not on a bend, but the building went down and then forked, and our door was there. So when I'm driving towards it, even though I'm driving down the wall, our door is facing me. Yeah, I can see the door, and then it goes back round and the road carries on straight again, just a little kink in the road. And as I'm getting closer, I can see like police cars in the distance, like not just one, loads of police cars, yeah, right outside our fucking studio door. So obviously now I know that the radio's in there, and I know that the police being outside the radio, I know that there's nothing else over there as well. There's nothing that the police can be doing apart from going to our radio station. So I've rung the DJ up who was on at the time. As I got closer, obviously now I can see there's loads of old Bill outside the studio. I've rung the DJ. I think his name is Funky P. I still talk to him now. I'm pretty sure Funky P was on. It was a Sunday morning. I'm pretty sure he was on. Maybe if he ever sees this, he'll jump in the comments and vouch for it. But I'm pretty sure Funky P was on that morning. So I've rung the studio, and I'm like, Pete, is everything all right, first of all? Because the radio was still on. So I said, is everything all right? Yeah, why? I said, well, don't be alarmed. There's bare old Bill outside the studio, but they haven't cut us off, and they haven't done anything yet. So just hang tight, turn the music down, don't leave, keep the door shut. I'm going 10 minutes up the road to drop my missus off, and then I'll be back, and then we'll work out what we're going to do. But if anything happens, just phone me, but I'll be back in 10 minutes. All right, mate. Obviously he's shitting himself, and he's saying, all right, mate. The last thing he needs on a Sunday morning is to get nicked, lose all his records, potentially get a fine. You never know, even go to prison. No one needs that on a fucking Sunday morning, do they? But he was like, cool, no worries, dogs, I got this and all that. And so that was that. So I drove up the road, 100 mile an hour, come back, getting back towards it. And now there's like meat wagons. There was more police cars outside now than when I come past earlier on. I'm thinking, fucking hell, mate, they're really going for us. Like, what is going on? So anyway, I've drove right up, and I've slowed down, and I've pulled up on the other side of the road. Now, where our door was to get in, there was also a double gate that used to go into the courtyard, I suppose, for deliveries and stuff like that. But it was always locked. We could never get through there. You could never get cars in there. But as I've pulled up, I've noticed that the gate is open. And when I look in there, there's police cars in the thing, and they're filming. As I've looked round, I see PC Stamp. I think his name is Tony Stamp. Who else was there? Jim Carver, Reg Hollis. Like, they were fucking filming a bill, weren't they? They were filming a bill right outside the studio in our courtyard. They was doing a car chase. Like, obviously, someone in the episode, it must have been that someone's gone into this thing, because they was doing donuts and the police were chasing them around in there. But mate, listen, I love the bill. Yeah, I could go and mastermind about the bill. And at this time, I was watching the bill. Loads, like, they were still filming it. Do you know what I mean? It was in its peak. So yeah, they were filming the bill there. So I've rung up old fucking Funky P on the right. I said, Pete, don't worry, bruv. They're filming the bill outside. Just keep your head down, keep the music down, but just know when you leave and swap with whoever's on next, there's going to be loads of old build, but they're not old build. You know what I mean? They're filming the bill, they're filming the bill outside. So yeah, it turns out that we was never in trouble, and that they was filming an episode of what at the time was one of my favourite TV shows. So yeah, it was a funny one. I mean, we could have come well unstuck there, and matey would have lost his job as well, because you know, we had a key to the door and all of that to get in and out. So how else would we have got in there? But yeah, it was Tony Stamp and all the crew, June Ackland and all of them lot filming an episode. So yeah, that was the story of Rinse FM at the Silvertown studio. It's about I'll say 2003. And like I say, it could have been a lot worse, but thank God it wasn't, and it made a great story as well. So yeah, that is that one. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I'll be back soon on the next episode of Rave Diaries and Tower Block Tales. Don't forget as well, we've got the Run Come Follow Uncle Doug's playlist, and all the supersized stuff, all the sets are up there now. If you look through this different playlist, there's all different stuff I'm putting up all the time. So keep an eye on them all, not just on this channel. But yeah, big up for watching this. Don't forget to leave your comments if you've got any pirate stories you want to leave underneath, or you're from Silvertown and you was living in the area in that time or whatever, and you know, well, I can't believe Rinse was there. Anything like that, chuck it in the comments. But if not, we'll see you on the next one. Big up everyone. Love, love, love.